What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining me on these analysis. We're going to be looking at SMCI today. This thing continues ripping higher. 3.5% day today, looking very nice. Structure is looking incredibly bullish. We're pushing past this zone over here. As you can see here, we'll pull this fib here to the downside. When you pull this fib here to the downside, you can see that we are coming to that point where we're running into this golden zone, 0.5 to the 618, which should be a key level of resistance. If we can break above this, get a bounce off of it, it could push us a little bit higher. But we do need to get past this key level of resistance here as well. And once we can surpass this wick at 66, we might be able to get a nice move up to about 97. I'm not saying that we're going to do it instantly or anything like that. I know people want things to happen really fast, but that's not really how it goes. Anything above 67, we get a close up there. It's going to start to open up the idea of a quick move or quicker move than we normally would see, up to 95, 97, somewhere in that region, just because of the clean traffic. That's the only reason why I say that. And then we could potentially be running into this upward sloping trend line, and hopefully we do similar to what NVIDIA did, where it had its major fall off and it ended up reclaiming this upward sloping trend line, and now it's starting to bounce off of it. So I could see that in SMCI's future if we break back above it, retest off this trend line and start that move higher. Now we will have a key level of resistance here at the top at about a 100 to 120. This is going to be a key level that we have to break, and then of course at 123 we need to break that key level as well. But these are the targets that I'm kind of looking at, and it is looking incredibly bullish at the moment. The breakout is starting to play out pretty nice. It looks like our inverse head and shoulders could be playing out, where we have this left shoulder, we have our head, and then we have a right shoulder here. So it is starting to look pretty solid, and we'll see if the move continues higher to higher price targets, which inverse head and shoulders typically indicate. And if we were to take that measured move, of course, it takes you somewhere around there. Measured move takes you to about the top of that channel or so. We'll see if it ends up playing out. That's a quick little drawing out of it. It's not anything official. Could also be a cup and handle as well. If you take a look here, you can see if you were to kind of draw that out, and then you have your handle here. That could also be your cup and handle as well, and that's also a bullish sign. So you do have potential two different charting patterns that could be indicating higher prices. Like I said, once we get above 66, that's going to be our key for moving higher. Weekly SMAs, we already spoke about the 20 surpassing the 50, and the last time we saw that, we saw a significant rally up in price. Here on the daily, we are holding well, finding a little bit of rejection, but we are still consistently pushing higher. So when you take a look at this weekly candle or daily candle, you can see that it was a red candle with a wick, but now on the following day, we're already closing inside of this wick, which is nice to see. So if we can continue that momentum and get a close back above here on the weekly, that's going to be incredibly bullish. So of course we want to close above 66, but if we can close above 61.86, that's going to be incredibly bullish as well, because we're above this key level of resistance there. And also I forgot to mention that August 5th, we will have earnings, so we'll see what SMCI decides to do there. You can see that here. When you click that, you can see, we'll see what plays out. Last time we saw earnings, you can see that there was different outcomes, of course. Pretty much a sideways earnings here, nothing really much. And then the following day, boom, took off. Or I'm sorry, the following week. So this week did nothing, then the following week took off. And this one, it looks like we fell off on earnings. Here, sideways week, and then we fell off the following week. Here was a sideways week, and then the following week we actually took off. So, and then it also depends on the sentiment around the stock as well, because this was during a bearish time for SMCI. So no matter what happened, it was going to be falling no matter what. So take that into consideration. And you can see when we had a good earnings during a euphoric phase, you got a nice pump, and it continued to move. So We'll see if we get something like we saw in here, or if we get something like we saw over here that could catapult this thing much higher. And maybe that's where we actually break the 66 and get our catapulting move to 90 something. Not saying that's going to happen in a week or in a month or anything. I'm just saying the clean traffic to the left-hand side. So be aware of earnings. On the 8 weekly EMA, you can see that we got a bounce off of it, and we actually catapulted off of that, pushing very, very fast off of that. And here on the daily, we touched it, we gapped up, pushed up, and now we are still holding sideways. So maybe we hold sideways until the 8 EMA on the daily actually catches up to price, and then it continues pushing price higher, kind of like we saw over here where we pushed off of it, trended sideways, and as the 8 EMA crept up, we came into contact with it and it pushed price higher. So maybe that's what we're going to end up seeing over here as that pushes it up into earnings, and hopefully we get a move up and it's not a sell the news event. Here we're looking at SOXX. This is the semiconductor ETF. So this is going to give you a pretty much a broad idea of what's going on in the semiconductor space. And you can see that most semiconductors have been absolutely ripping to the upside. As you can see from here, the April bottom, SOXX has gone up 68%, while SMCI from the bottom has gone up 125%. So SMCI is outperforming SOXX, which is a semiconductor ETF. SMCI is not inside of SOXX, and you can see they're both still doing well because the entire industry in the sector is doing pretty well. The sector is just running into this key level of resistance right here. We've seen resistance multiple times for June and July of 2024. We'll see if it happens again. If we were to see some kind of resistance here, then I would expect that to kind of roll over into SMCI because they usually all move together. So you'll see AMD, NVIDIA, SMCI, all of these companies kind of doing the same thing on a day-to-day basis. They kind of roll together, they rally together, and they drop together. So that's something to take into consideration. And we're just going to take a look here at the SMAs. We do have the 20 curling back above or back below, and it's pushing above eventually to the 50. Still a little bit of space, but we'll see if it can actually overtake it and start to push up higher. And on the daily, you can see on the 20-day, we're holding the bounce. We fell underneath it, and now we're holding after getting a close and bouncing. And we'll see if this can start to create a higher move. Last time we broke underneath it and pushed back above, you can see we got a nice little rally. So we'll see if this can continue up, as this was really just some sideways consolidation and more of like a ascending triangle more than anything. You have your flat top there, and then you can connect your bottoms here. You can see you kind of got that ascending triangle trending upward. We'll see where it takes us. Could be incredibly bullish. These chart patterns are very bullish for price. We'll see if the entire sector can follow, and SMCI can continue to follow as well. Going into its earnings, it'd be nice to see if we get that momentum and we can get above 67 before that. It could, clear that runway for a nice move higher. That's pretty much all I have for you guys here on SMCI. Make sure you drop a like and subscribe if you enjoy content like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.